Well, good morning. It's Saturday. It's 8 o'clock. Had my breakfast, had my 2 cups of coffee, and I still have no garage doors, of course, because God forbid anything go right. But Home Depot has no idea where the doors are. Their customer service representatives have no idea about anything. So now I'm just in limbo, waiting as they investigate over a holiday weekend. What a joke. I already know they're not going to tell me anything until Tuesday minimum, if that, which will probably be when they actually start their investigation. So I probably won't hear anything until probably Friday. And then they'll be like, well, it's the weekend and there's nothing we can do. Anyway, because I can't work on my building any longer and there's really not much else I can do until those garage doors get here, we're going to go ahead and switch gears and start working on Angie's barn. So as you can see, I've got 2 walls, a big opening in the middle, and then the gable end at the very top is also wide open. Let's see if I can, right there, that opening right there, right in this area. I want to close that off with the extra T111 siding I have from building the shop here. So it acts as more of a windbreak during the winter, because we'll put the large canvas will go in that square opening in the front there where the gates are. It'll be a large canvas drop, and then I want to close that top off to cause the heat just rips out of there. We've already done the back wall. We've done the silicone in the holes on that, so it's all sealed up. It's good to go. So today is going to be framing out everything, hopefully, to get the T111 up there screwed in, fastened in, and all that jazz. You're going to notice that I've got a fancy green taped up boot. My Keens, the front end of them are talking to me. So I have shoe goo that should have set by now, but I don't want to take the tape off just in case. So everything's fine. It's just I shoe gooed my shoe so it would stop fish mouthing at me, because those are $400 boots and I can't run out and buy another pair right now. So we're going to go ahead and get started on that, get everything set up, get rolling. And this will also help me figure out how things are going to function inside the shop as far as when I have a project going, where I'm going to put what, how I'm going to maneuver things around. And if by chance I do finish that this weekend, I do want to figure out lumber storage, because I still have a lot of lumber that I want to put away, get out of the weather, get off the ground here, all that jazz. So that's just many things on the list. I did a bunch of fence repair and stuff yesterday when I got home from work in preparation for winter, first of all, and also breeding groups. So the girls are starting to get really loud about that and pretty vocal. So during the time lapse, it'll be great. You won't hear it. But Opal, of course, and the boys are chatting across the entire property. So good thing I got my earbuds in. I don't have to listen to it either. So, all right, let's get set up and let's build something.
Okay, it is 2 o'clock, and I think I've done enough with the barn. Well, I'm not done, but there's still stuff to do, as always. So, this is the side that faces the shop, gym area. It is completely covered. The whole gable end is completely done. So, let's take you inside. I may have to turn the light on. There we go. So there's the back side of it there. So, I mean, there's a little bit of daylight showing over there, but you know what? This is supposed to be just a windbreak. So not allow a lot of the heat to escape and a lot of the cold air to blow through here during the winter. So like I said, that's the side that's facing the shop. You can kind of see the shop through the screen mesh there. But I also got the backside done. So the whole barn, other than the normal openings, has been sealed and weather resistanted. You can see over here, these are the actual canvas tarps that go in the place of the mesh during the winter. So they're pretty heavy duty. They're not, regular nylon plasticky tarps. They're canvas. So they do help quite a bit as far as wind reduction goes. And there's heat lamps in every one of the stalls. I know it's kind of a mess in here right now, but when Ange has kids and mamas in here, all this is cleaned up. But you see there's heat lamps in each one of the individual pens. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pens here. And then these are the presidential suites. We've got one now in the corner that can be utilized along with this one here. This is where all of the bottle babies usually end up because it's just easier to handle them. This is the bigger of the two by about 5 feet. So if we have a mama that has quints or quads, they'll get put into the presidential suite for bonding. And then we'll find out which ones are good nursers. And those are the ones we'll take to put on a bottle because they'll be easier to train. And then, of course, we'll keep an eye on the 2 or 3 or whatever that we leave with mom because mom may not be a good mom or have a defective teat or have an issue nursing those young ones. So it's always, we keep an eye on all of them. But when it comes to goats having more than 2, we really keep an eye on it because they're only made, well, goats can only handle 2 kids adequately. Anything other than 2, we have to pull them off so that mom doesn't suffer and the others don't suffer and everybody gets adequate food. And of course, we'll bottle bathe, we'll substitute, and then they'll get a little bit more grain and protein in the long run, just to keep them up and up. So I still have to reinstall all the cameras because we have a camera that faces out on both ends, and then we have a camera inside that Ange can control to watch everything going on inside the barn when she's got kids and mom's in here. So that is the next step, is to take care of that. It shouldn't take too long. But yeah, pretty effective day today. Started at 8 o'clock, almost 9. I'm not mad. Okay, so another project down that I promised my wife I would get done for her. So yeah, next is the fence for the maternity ward, getting that sorted, but that's a lot of digging and I'm not ready for that today. All right. We'll put this all together into a pretty little video so you guys can see the inside structure of the barn. So actually, you know what? Let's do a quick run through here. So like I said, on these sides here, these are all individual pens, and it goes back 10 feet, and it's 5 foot wide. So 5 foot by 10 foot, 50 square feet in each one of these 5 pens here. And of course, we've got buckets for water, feed. They've got the heat lamp in the back of each one, and there's power across the top so mamas and babies can't get to the cords. And then this is the large, usually the bottle baby kid, but it's one of the presidential suites. So it's got a hay feeder. It's got hanging feeders over here for minerals, water buckets, of course, and then the main circuit breaker panels over here for the whole barn. And now this is the newest one here. Right now it was feed storage and miscellaneous storage. We're going to move all this stuff into her she shed. So all of her stuff for fare, all of her tack, all of her feed, all that stuff will go into the she shed that she's got. That's another project. I have to finish insulating and wiring that, so she's got power out there. So, like I said, it never ends around here, but that's the barn is her center of operations when it comes to everything. So she does all of her prep for show. She shaves all the goats down, trims them up, purdies them up, buffs them up in here. Then they get put into the maternity ward and then shoveled into the trailer and taken up to whatever fair she's going to. If we have chickens, they start in here, you know, because we get the heat lamps and the wind reduction and everything. And then they move into the big pen. So it's a lot of moving parts happen in here. And it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of space, but in all actuality, there really is. The camera doesn't do it a whole lot of justice because it's 25 feet wide by 38 feet. I think 28 feet. So, I mean, it's a pretty substantial size. But, you know, would we do it again the same way? I think so. I would just, you know, I would like it to be a little bit longer for her. I think the height is perfect. The width is perfect because you can drive a tractor through here if we have to for big bales of feed. You can drive the truck through here if we have to, if she's got stuff to unload. The only thing we couldn't drive through here was my neighbor's backhoe. His boom was way too high, and his exhaust pipe was too high. But everything else seems to fit through here just fine. Yeah. Okay. We'll see you next time.